unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So you guys, today's readings are all about June of 2020. So if you're interested to figure out exactly what is coming towards you in June and what to look out for, then you are in the exact right video. So in order to help you gain clarity, I have prepared 5 groups that you can choose from, and I would like you to pick one or more of these 5 groups. So the reason why I say more is because you can feel drawn to multiple stones, multiple crystals. So if that is the case for you, feel free to tune into multiple readings. So the 5 crystals that I have prepared today are as follows. We have the Azurite, we have the red Jasper, we have the Vanadinite, we have the orange Calcite, as well as the Howlite. And as most of you know, the timestamps can be found in the description box or posted and pinned in the comment section by myself. Because you guys know I love to be active in the comment section. So yeah, you guys, I would like to keep the intro very short and spend more time within the individual readings. So I will be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Azurite, and to all of my other beautiful groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Azurite group number 1, which is just such a gorgeous crystal, such a gorgeous mineral, but I want to move into your reading to figure out exactly what is going on for you in June. So let's see what the whole theme of your reading is. We have the Void of Course Moon. So one thing that I see here in the Void of Course Moon is that for you in June, it's very important to let go of the things that no longer serve you, okay? There are so many things that are just stale, that are just old, or that maybe were meant to be in your life for a certain amount of time, but then you just gotta let it go, group number 1, okay? You cannot hold on to things for longer than necessary because the pace in June seems to be rapid for you. It seems like things are moving very quickly. So if you're being stagnant, if you're kind of so anxious that you can't even move, that you can't even let go of the things that no longer serve you, you may miss out on valuable opportunities. So that is one thing that I want you to look out for. Then we have the 3 of Wands as well as the World. So the World is really one of the most favorable cards of the tarot. So congratulations, group number 1. This is always a pleasant thing to have within your reading. The World stands for fulfillment. It stands for you coming to a place of just happiness, gratitude, and not really longing for anything. I see here in the 3 of Wands that it's about time that you've gotten to that point in your life, to that point in your existence here in the earthly realms, because you've been worrying and you've been going through a lot recently. So just having a little bit of a breather, having a little bit of a big inhale in June is exactly what you need. Then we have the 7 of Swords as well as the 6 of Pentacles. So one thing that I see here in June is that you will be inclined to help somebody. You will be inclined to do something that benefits, you know, kind of like the whole community, not just you, but, you know, the other people involved, the community, so on. So human benevolence. I see you thinking of doing like charitable work, just something that is so unselfish that it could only be coming from a place of, you know, love and just genuine care. And I see here in the 7 of Swords that there are some people who may take this the wrong way. You know the saying, when you like give somebody a little finger and they try and take the whole hand. That is one thing that I want you to look out for, group number 1. There is a reason why you tuned into this reading and why you felt drawn to the Azurite. And it is exactly for you to know, like, it's okay to set healthy boundaries, because there are some people who are a little bit sneaky, who will think to themselves, well, if they can do this person a favor, or if they've already done me this favor, I'm sure they can do a little more, right? I'm sure they can help me even more than they already have. So it is really great for you to just flex that muscle of helping people, but at the same time be aware of people who are takers and who do not know when to stop taking. Then we have No Place Like Home. We have soulmates as well as round and round. So this is very interesting, group number 1. In soulmates as well as No Place Like Home, I see a lot of love in the home. So this can be romantic love. This could also be platonic love. Just kind of, you know, Think of this feeling of sitting around a campfire or just a fire in your home, like in a chimney, and it's warm, it's cozy, you're listening to amazing music, having like a hot chocolate, whatever it is that you enjoy, and just kind of like cuddling up with your soulmates, cuddling up with your tribe. So I really see you kind of connecting on a soul level with the people who are important to you, maybe also inviting somebody new into your life romantically, if that is something that you're open to, if you're single. And here in Round and Round, I just see just this seeking of the feeling even after it's past. So this feeling of togetherness, this feeling of warmth and community, I see that even when the evening or the day has passed, you're kind of trying to recreate it and trying to have it happen again. So in the void of course moon, I just want to remind you, group number 1, be grateful for the moments just as they are, and don't try and chase that feeling of, you know, happiness, that high, whatever it was that you loved about that moment. Don't try and chase the identical sensation or the identical feelings, because each moment is like an individual thing. There is no moment that is exactly the same as the previous one or one that has happened prior to. So just see the beauty and see all of the amazing energy in each moment as like a separate entity, okay? That is something that will help you achieve more of this world feeling in June, more of satisfaction. And then we have the North Node, as well as the new moon in Scorpio. So you may connect to Scorpios maybe because you're just somebody who is a Scorpio, or who has someone really close to them who's a Scorpio. And I want you to know here that there is really help for you to work through your fears in June. It's important for you to kind of like step out of your comfort zone, as we have here in the North Node, and face those fears. So stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't necessarily have to do with, how should I say, with stepping out of your comfort zone, say at work or in love. It is more just personal boundaries that you have set for yourself. So if you have, for instance, always said to yourself, oh, I don't think I'm ever going to have my dream body, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to feel comfortable in my everyday life, in my living situation. It is really just stepping out of those boundaries that you have created for yourself in your head and taking the reins back into your possession and saying to yourself, no, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna destroy this image, this depiction that I've created in my head that is causing me so much fear and anxiety, because I don't need it. It's really just ruining things instead of helping. So again, we're coming back to the void of course moon, and just letting things go where there is nothing that you can gain from it anymore. I mean, there is nothing to gain out of fears of, for instance, being hurt again, or fears of, you know, not being able to lead the life that you want to lead. Maybe at a certain point that fear served a purpose, like if you've been hurt in love and you just needed a little bit of distance from people. The same goes from friendships. You know, sometimes there are endings to friendships and connections that can be painful, and it just makes you feel like you need space from humanity, and animals are way better friends and companions, and you may still feel that way. But the thing is just, it served a purpose then when you needed space, when you needed room to heal. But now that you're all healed up, don't hold that grudge, don't keep those walls up, because they have served their purpose when you needed them to. So now it's time to kind of just connect again. Now it's time to let your soul tribe back in. So that is one thing that I see for June. Then we have the Queen of Swords, as well as Strength. So I see a really kick-ass kind of mentality for you, group number 1. The Queen of Swords is a person who just says it how it is. They're not afraid to be blunt, they're not afraid to be honest, and logic kind of goes over everything in June for you. You're not here for maybes, you're not here for, oh, let's see how it goes, let's see how the flow goes. You're really all about planning, all about productivity, and being more effective. And I see here in Strength, as well as in the North Node, you know, stepping out of your comfort zone that we had here. And as I said, Strength, just the fact that you're planning things more, that you're holding yourself more accountable, maybe journaling, maybe having little checklists of what you've done, what you want to do in a day. That is really going to give you strength. It's going to give you confidence, and it's going to make you feel like you really have a plan in life, like you're not just wandering around aimlessly. So more stability and more reasons why you feel in this world card like everything is as it should be for you. Then we have a new life as well as peace. So this is just an amazing ending to your reading for June of 2020, group number 1. I mean, new life and peace kind of says it already. The fact that you can just stretch out into this new life, into this new vibe that you're creating for yourself, this new vibe of being content with what you have, with giving in a gracious way while still setting boundaries with those who don't know when to stop taking. I see like a deep sense of peace, a deep sense of just happiness and contentment coming for you in June. And you may think to yourself, oh, I have needed this through all of these crazy times, and you deserve it, group number 1. Just inhale, take time to cherish, relish the moment, and just be present. And as I said, don't chase moments that have already passed. Just enjoy each individual moment with each individual moment's trait that makes it beautiful and unique. So group number 1, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. If you did and you made it all the way to the end of your reading, leave a little deer emoji down below in the comment section and let me know what really hit home and what you're looking forward to. So group number 1, I hope you're staying safe, I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the red Jasper, group number 2, and I'm beyond excited to figure out exactly what's happening for you in June. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, we have the new moon. So we have a new beginning in June, which is just amazing. Don't get me wrong, group number 2, I'm just laughing because that rhymed, okay? New moon in June, new beginnings, and one thing that I see here is that the new moon is a powerful time for you to manifest things that you desire. So on the next upcoming new moon for you, when the actual celestial event is happening, grab your journal, grab a pen and a paper, sit down, play some calming music, drink a little hot cup of, chai tea, whatever makes you feel at home and makes you feel like warm and cozy, and write down all of your manifestations, everything that you desire, everything that you want to come true, your goals, because this is a powerful time. And I see here that you have chosen this group because this celestial event happening in June for you is really going to impact you. So there's a reason why you tune into this reading at this point in time. Mark it in your calendar, make sure you don't miss the new moon and that you don't miss out on its amazing powers that it has for you. Then we have the new moon in Capricorn, another new moon, as well as the cardinal moon. So I'm going to start off with the new moon in Capricorn. So the Capricorn is a sign that is very diligent, very hardworking. You may feel like, yes, I totally feel that way because I'm a Capricorn, or somebody close to me who is a grounded hard worker is a Capricorn. And one thing that I see here is that the hard work is finally paying off. And in the cardinal moon, I see here that now is the time for you to make the first move in another area. So as we spoke about new beginnings here in the new moon, it is important for you to take the lead on new ventures and not be afraid to be bold. That is one thing that is important for you in June, as well as, of course, just enjoying your hard work paying off. I do not want you to miss out on that. I do not want you to feel like you didn't have the time to do so. Make the time to enjoy your hard work paying off and just see the fruit of your labor. Then we have fork in the road, as well as happy. So there is going to be a situation in June, probably around the new moon, where there is a fork in the road. You can decide whether you go left or right, whichever direction it is that you are being given or that is being kind of like laid before you. Choose the direction that makes you happy, okay? One thing that I see here is a lot of kind of contentment, and I want you to know in correlation to the fork in the road that this has to do with you following your heart, following your intuition. So even if your family says, I'm not sure if you should start your own business, or your partner says, I don't really know if I feel like you should make plans to travel the world in 1 or 2 years, do whatever makes you happy. Start saving up for your travels, start looking into this business venture that you're interested in and see whether it's feasible. But the most important thing is for you to already at that fork in the road, choose a path that will lead you to fulfillment and happiness, the path that you really desire. Then we have a blessed, we have a chop wood, as well as higher power. So this is all amazing news for you, group number 2. I hope you're excited for June, because I'm really pumped for June when it comes to you. So not only do we have a new start, but we also have just a lot of blessings coming for you, a lot of amazing things. And in correlation to the higher power, I see that you will be led to these things by seemingly, some force that you can't quite tell what it is, but you know it's a higher power. You know it is something that is not from this world, not from this earth, if you will. So in chop wood, I see here that even though your hard work is paying off, enjoy it, but already look towards the next projects that you can do. I see a lot of energy within your reading, because sometimes when we have hard work paying off, it's best to regenerate, recuperate, sleep, and relax. But sometimes it's also important to not lose momentum and not lose the energy that you have here, the drive that you have, the inspiration, and to just ride the wave and carry on for as long as you can until you hit the shore and you need to recuperate before you can go and catch the next wave. So I still see that you're kind of like in the midst of a wave. Even if it may not feel that way in chop wood, I want you to really just take the time to find a good balance where you can still work, but also relax, but you're not completely like losing the tension. Just think about it as when you do a workout. If you're, for instance, doing like sit-ups or crunches, if you just completely relax in the middle of the exercise, the tension was just lost. You're not gonna feel it in your core the way you would have if you would have continued the exercise without that relaxation, without that break. It is a lot more tense when you keep going. So keep that intensity, as I see that it is really something that will help you prosper and that will allow you to have more blessed moments and kind of like signs that are blessings coming from your higher power. Then we have the 9 of Cups, as well as the 7 of Wands. So first and foremost, I want to talk to you about the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is also known as the wish card when it comes to the tarot, and the wish card is all about being able to make a wish and it coming true. And in correlation to the new moon, this could not be closer to the truth, because the new moon is all about powerful manifesting energy. So make use of this. Don't miss out on the new moon. It's important for you to note everything down, to keep track of it, and then watch it come true. Okay, so in the 9 of Cups, make that wish. And I know it may seem silly, but just try it, group number 2. And feel free to come back in one of my later videos and let me know how the manifestation worked for you and how making a wish worked for you. In the 7 of Wands, I see here that you have to protect your energy. So I briefly touched upon this when I said go towards what makes you happy with the fork in the road, but I can see here in the 7 of Wands that there are some obstacles that are seemingly racing towards you. So there are obstacles that seem to not move, if you will. So those can be obstacles in the way, like for instance, worrying about not having enough money to start a business venture or not having the time to travel. But then there are obstacles that seem to be charging at you. For instance, people with their opinions, constantly bringing them up even though you did not ask for their opinion, and constantly just kind of like trying to bring negativity around you. It could also be a boss that is just constantly nagging on you, constantly being negative. And in the 7 of Wands, I just see like you kind of protecting yourself from that in June, okay? Kind of like ducking, kind of trying to like stay away from it. So that is one thing that will consume a little bit of your energy. But the best way to kind of like not let it affect you so much is to just not allow it near you, not allow it into your field, into your plane, and just say to yourself, I am just not even going to give this the time of the day because I have bigger fish to fry and I need to use my energy for that, not for a little petty nonsense. And then we have the 10 of Wands as well as the King of Swords. So in the 10 of Wands, I do see here that you're kind of really over things that are cramping your style, and in correlation to the 7 of Wands, we literally just spoke about that. But I see here in the King of Swords that the best remedy for you as well is to just use logic. So you're somebody who needs a little bit of, you know, tangible ways to act. You're not the kind of person who can just say to themselves, okay, I just won't let it affect me, and then that's it. You need a plan, you need kind of like logic. So the King of Swords is a very smart kind of individual. The King of Swords is the kind of energy that I see you embodying, group number 2. So use the King of Swords logical approach to say to yourself, look, what am I actually accomplishing if I'm mad about this person coming at me, or if I'm mad about my family visibly not supporting me in the path that I want to go down, that I have here in the fork in the road in June. What is being mad really doing? It's only harming me, my success, my path, my journey, and I'm just giving them exactly what they want, which is a reaction, which is me not succeeding. So if I want to succeed and if I want to continue living my best life, I just need to focus on my happiness, and I need to allow myself to know that if other people feel a certain way, then they might be going through something that makes them feel like they have to jeopardize my happiness or put their insecurities on me, but that doesn't need to affect me at such a deep level. So that is the kind of vibe that I see here in June for you. Then we have the Ten of Swords as well as the Three of Swords. So if you're in a relationship, be prepared to kind of have a few arguments about certain things that have always been a point of friction. So this is probably something that is way overdue. You have, like, since a long time needed to speak about these things. The pot needed to boil over, and things just had to come to a point where it's like, okay, let's talk about it for real this time, and then move on, and then really close the chapter instead of just bringing it up every now and then. The same goes for situationships. If you're not quite sure where this connection is going, I definitely see in June of 2020 that it's going to come to a complete change. It's going to come to the situation where you're like, okay, even if it hurts me, I would rather really know where this is going or really know what we're doing here than to just kind of like cling on and hang on to something that is maybe not even real or maybe not even mutual. So I definitely see your connections coming to a point where you have clarity, and coming to a point where maybe there are arguments, there's kind of like an explosive encounter, but you needed that. You needed to let it all out. You needed to speak about how you truly felt and just allow people to know, like, hey, this is what I'm cool with, this is what I'm not cool with. Let's just close the chapter, agree to disagree on some things, maybe finally get each other on other points, and just live a more harmonious life. And if you need to part ways with people, know that the heartache is not going to last for long. I can see here in the Three of Swords that you may feel kind of like hurt, you may feel a little bit of heartache, but there's so much happening around you. There's this fresh start, your hard work paying off, that it's not really going to bother you for a prolonged amount of time, group number 2. So if you were worried about that, do not worry, because your fresh start, the new moon energy, just overpowers everything. It is at the center of your reading. It is the theme of June for you. So ride the wave, group number 2. So wherever you are in this world, group number 2, I hope that you're doing amazing. Thank you so much for joining me in today's reading. I hope that you found it insightful. I hope that it helped you. I hope that it was maybe even a little inspirational, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Vanadinite, group number 3, which is just such a gorgeous crystal. Absolutely beautiful. So nice choice, group number 3. Let's move into your reading to figure out what's happening in June. So first and foremost, we have the balsamic moon. So one thing that I see here is that June is a time for deep healing, okay? Deep tissue healing, deep emotional healing, just kind of like out with the old and in with the new. But the main theme is really just out with the old, is really just healing from things that affected you in a negative way, that affected you in a way how you felt as though you just had hurt there for a while. So this can be healing from emotional abuse, from something traumatic that happened to you as a child, maybe even just a few months ago, but you will feel it working through you, and you will feel it working its way out of your system and out of your life in June. So then we have the new moon in Leo as well as the first quarter moon. So I want to talk a little bit more about this trauma and the things that you're healing from. So first and foremost, in the new moon in Leo, I see here that your confidence is really being upped. So if you are a Leo or know Leos, then you know that they are confident, okay? And that makes them attractive. So it's very important for you to kind of understand that yeah, it's okay to be confident. It's okay to feel good about yourself, because part of your trauma may stem from making yourself smaller than you truly should have been or wanted to be, just to try and escape. So if you were bullied as a kid or in an abusive relationship, you may have tried to just like make yourself really small to protect yourself and so that you're not a target anymore. But that time is over, group number 3. We're not being bullied anymore, whether it is today by friends, family, co-workers, or it was years ago. We're letting go of that, we're healing from that, and we're kind of building up a protective layer. I can see here in the first quarter moon that you're going to feel as though you're being tested, because you may feel like crying, you may feel like just letting out the emotions, and like life is kind of throwing a mean curveball at you, because this is something that you may have not wanted to deal with or look at in this form, but it is really going to be put in front of your face like this, group number 3. There's no way you can escape from it, but it is all for a good cause, trust me. Then we have the full moon. So the full moon has a very strong healing effect on you in June, so don't miss out on the full moon, group number 3. Pause the video right here, put it into your schedule, put it either, you know, in your phone calendar, in your actual calendar, if you have a little schedule, if you have a little booklet where you put down all of your plans. Mark the day of the full moon in June and exactly when you want to spend time manifesting and spend time releasing the old. That is what the full moon can help you to do. So you can do this at the day of the full moon, or 2 to 3 days within the realm of the full moon happening, of this celestial event affecting your life. So it's important for you to just really mark it in your calendar and make sure that you don't miss out, because sometimes we say to ourselves, yeah, I'm gonna manifest when the next new moon happens, I'm gonna let go of the old when the next full moon happens, and it comes and goes and we're like, oh, I kind of missed that. And then the next thing happens the next month. Trust me, been there, done that. Just mark it in your calendar right now, and it's going to help you not forget to really harness that power of that magnetic celestial event to let go of the old a little more and empower you. Then we have the unfinished symphony as well as the tribe. So I see here that there's something really close to home. So a family member, a friend, or somebody who used to be your friend, okay? And I see here in the unfinished symphony that there is something with that person that is just not quite sorted, that just hasn't quite been dealt with, and it has to do with this hurt, it has to do with this healing process. And why I say this is somebody close is because we do have the tribe within your reading, which is an indication of, like I said, this closeness. They were part of your tribe, they were part of the people who you never expected to hurt you, who you thought would protect you to the end, and they would be the last kind of person to do something that would affect you in a hurtful manner. So one thing that I see in the unfinished symphony is that, you know, this is something that is a loose end that needs to be tied up. If you have to speak about it, or if you feel like it's still bugging you and weighing really heavily on your heart, write them a letter if you don't want to speak to them in person. If this is, for instance, an ex, you know, just kind of have well wishes for them no matter what happened, and close the chapter, group number 3. I see in the unfinished symphony that you just having these connections that are still lingering, that are still affecting you when you think about them, that still make you emotional, is really not serving you. And a big part of your healing is to be confident, to just look that in the eye, to write that letter, write that email, that text, send it off and be done with it. Okay, have the closure that you need. That is one thing that I see. Then we have the Page of Swords as well as the 5 of Swords. So the swords connects to air signs, and I want you to know here in the 5 of Swords that you may kind of have the tendency to use very raw emotion and raw words in June. So raw words, what is that? I mean just being very unfiltered, letting people know exactly how you feel and telling them like, hey, what you did was and not concealing that word. Am I even supposed to be saying that? you get what I mean. So just kind of telling people how it is. I see here in the Page of Swords, you know, the Page of Swords is kind of still at the beginning of learning how to be diplomatic. So you may not necessarily not know how to be diplomatic, but in June, you're just over it. You don't want to be diplomatic. You just want your raw, unfiltered emotions out there and to touch this world, to touch the people who have affected you both positively and negatively, and just tell them, like, hey, you really hurt me, you really like effed up, or hey, I really love you, you really had a positive impact on your life, and I'm so happy to have you in my life, in and around me. So take time to cherish the people who have done amazing things for you, who have affected your life in an amazing way, and show them that kind of raw and unfiltered emotion as well, because chances are that one of the people closest to you really needs it and has kind of been lacking it, has kind of been feeling like that is a challenging thing to how to tell you that they need more emotion from you, that they need to hear how you cherish them and love them more. So then we have the Hanged Man as well as the Wheel of Fortune. So in the Hanged Man, I see here that you're very comfortably kind of staying complacent, most likely when it comes to your career, okay? You're very likely to just kind of be like, okay, I'm cool here, and this is maybe just a time where you need to recuperate a little bit, or maybe it's a time where you're just thinking, what do I really want to do in my career? And it's just something that you're not really touching in June. Instead, in the Wheel of Fortune, one thing that I can see is that you're just focused on observing the different kind of challenges that continuously occur almost as patterns, and figuring out how you can really nip them in the bud. Because reoccurring patterns, I mean, it says it in the name, reoccurring, and it's going to continue reoccurring until you find something that truly makes a change. So I see more observing going on. I see you more just noticing things, just realizing things in June, and not really feeling like you have to act instantly. And I don't want you to feel like you have to act instantly, group number 3. Even if your work is in a bad place due to, you know, the economic situation, your career is in a difficult spot, don't feel the pressure to just instantly do, because sometimes when you're just trying to be productive or effective and you're pushing it, you're really forcing it, you end up being a lot less productive and effective than if you would have just given yourself time to truly think about the next step, how you want to take the next steps, and what you would like to accomplish. So allow yourself to really make a game plan first, and don't feel so pressured to just act and act and act. I know in today's day and age, we have this hustle culture, we have this glamorization of just always being on like full speed ahead, but it's really not that glamorous, and it won't last that long. It's really not that cool, and I think it's important that we embrace that sometimes too. Then we have Yin as well as Message in a Bottle. So there is kind of like an unexpected message coming towards you. That is one thing that I see in Message in a Bottle, and it's from a faraway place. It's from a place that you didn't expect. So it could be an old friend, or for instance an ex that contacts you, a long lost like relative, brother or sister, and you're like, wow, I haven't even thought of you for such a long time. And not saying that to be rude or anything, but just genuinely thinking to yourself, wow, what are the odds that I think of this person one time after so long, or that I asked myself, oh, is this person out there? And all of a sudden I get a message, all of a sudden I get like a text, I get a WhatsApp notification, and I can really like embrace that person and embrace that connection now, especially if this is somebody that you used to have a connection with but no longer do. As I can see here in Yin, this is not negative. Well, people say female and feminine energy, and Yin is negative energy, which it is not, but they just needed that contrast. You know how male energy, yang energy is supposed to be positive, so then Yin has to be negative, but the updated, more newer versions of what Yin means doesn't really portray it as negative. Yin is more of the receptive kind of thing, not doing so much, but just receiving. So that is exactly what we spoke about in hustle culture, just going at a million miles an hour. Don't do that. Receive energy, receive people, receive these messages in a bottle. They may not come to you in form of a bottle. They may come to you in form of a DM, WhatsApp message, or text, but be here to receive in June. That is really what you're meant to do, as well as just receive love and receive respect. Receive the respect that you have been craving, and just kind of like those words that can finally finish the unfinished symphony and close the chapter for you. So group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it all the way to the end of your reading, leave a little moon emoji in the comment section to let me know, and also just like as a token of good luck and healing, especially during the full moon in June for you. So wherever you are in this world, group number 3, I hope that you're doing amazing, that you're taking care of yourself, that you, your friends, your family are staying safe, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello group number 4, and welcome to your reading about June. So you chose the orange calcite group number 4, and I want to jump straight into your reading to figure out what's happening for you during the month of June. So let's see what the whole theme is, shall we? First and foremost, we have the new moon in Pisces. So I see that the whole theme for you in June is meditation and contemplation. So really digging deep, going deep into your soul, into who you are, who you want to become, and just also taking some moments of stillness, because meditation is all about just shutting off from everything that is a distraction, from everything that makes us feel all over the place, and just taking a moment to be in the moment, taking a moment for stillness. So I see that this is something that is not only important in June, this is something that is a necessity and is just overall the theme. So you can either choose to, how should I say, just be tired and lethargic and just ask yourself why you're so tired and lethargic in June, or you can choose to take some time to meditate and contemplate, and you will get the answers that show you, hey, I've been overworking, I've been overthinking, I've been really anxious, maybe not taking my vitamins, not eating healthily, and that is why I'm here. So let me just continue to learn about myself, my body, and my soul. So that is, of course, another way how you can deal with your emotions and yourself in June. Then we have the third quarter moon, as well as the full moon in Cancer. So we have a very water-based energy, as we have the new moon in Pisces and then the full moon in Cancer. So both water signs, both very emotional, and I can see in the third quarter moon that you need some adjustment. So as I told you, you can deal with yourself, with your situation in June however you see fit, but of course meditation, contemplation, yoga, that is helpful to you, because that allows you to really go into the deep tissue, damage, the things that are still kind of undealt with, as well as the things that you've always wanted to deal with. And I can see here in the full moon in Cancer that, personal issues are finally coming to a resolution. So this could be, for instance, depression that has been lingering within you. This could also be, something that has to do with a type of disorder. It could be an eating disorder. It could just be, something that makes life more difficult than it needs to be. And I see here that this is coming to a state of being resolved, or at least being in treatment. So maybe you're finally going to seek out help, finally going to talk to somebody about it, and make a new battle plan on how you can deal with what is going on. How you can deal with these things, these emotions, as well as the things that are just kind of holding you back, if you will, okay? Things that are long overdue to finally be dealt with, group number 4. So then we have Justice, as well as the 9 of Swords. So in Justice, one thing that I see here is just kind of coming to a point where you're done with anything that is keeping you emotionally confined and trapped. As I can see in the 9 of Swords, that you may have some nightmares at the beginning of June that stress you out, that make you anxious, okay? And I'm an honest tarot reader. I'm going to tell you if I see something like that, but I'm also going to tell you how we can spin this into a helpful situation. So how can you spin nightmares into a helpful situation? You may ask yourself that right now. Well, group number 4, keep in mind the Nine of Swords is about pressures and things that are bugging you that are mental, okay? They have not transpired into the real world. They have not transpired into reality. These are worries. These are things that do not have like a concrete foothold in your life. So don't beat yourself up about them or let them kind of like internally distress you and emotionally make you exhausted, because it's not worth it. And there's a reason why you tune into this reading, and there's a reason why I'm here to tell you this, and it's most likely because there is an easier solution than you thought to ending that cycle. And then we have round and round, we have peace as well as flexible. So I see here that in June, you're really kind of like breaking the mold. So while we do have round and round, which by itself would be almost like a pattern, almost like something that continues to occur and continues to go on. So in a way, you are still doing that because you're evolving, right? And evolution is something that happens every day. You change every day. You probably learn every day, or at least kind of go to a next stage in your life. And I want you to know here in flexible that this is not a repetition of what you have always had that is coming in June. This is more you being flexible to try new things, to try things that you've maybe like never really considered like you should have. So I see here that whatever life throws at you, you kind of have a really chill approach to it in June. And that is something that is really serving you, group number 4. That is something that is really a positive for you in June of 2020. So continue to embrace that, as I can see that that is only helping with any kind of like personal issues that you may have, anything that has been weighing on you. And then we have the King of Swords as well as the 10 of Swords. So I see here that you're kind of done talking, you're ready to do. That is what I see in the 10 of Swords. The number 10 just screams, we're done here, we're moving on, we're tired of this. And that is one thing that I see here for June for you, group number 4. You are done with the nightmares, you're done with anything that is kind of like plaguing you, if you will. And in the King of Swords, I see here that you're making the conscious and very brave decision to move into what makes sense to you. And what makes sense to you is to live your best life, is to live your life in a way how you feel free, how you can move on from certain things and start actually doing it. Start actually practicing what you're preaching. So that is, you know, healthier living, healthier eating, and spending more time getting to know yourself on a deeper level, spending more time in actually spiritual practices instead of just saying, oh, I should practice meditation. You're actually doing it. So partake in meditation challenges. I'm doing one right now. It is the 21 Days of Abundance Challenge that a friend of ours invited us to. So I'm doing that right now alongside with Cody, and you know, we do it every day, and it really keeps you motivated when you do it in a group. So seek out those types of ways of just sticking to what you're preaching and walking the walk. And then we have, well, walking the talk, but also walking the walk. Then we have the new moon in Capricorn, as well as the full moon in Gemini. So first and foremost, in the new moon in Capricorn, I see here that hard work that you have put in is paying off in June. So you may have, for instance, put in really hard work training an animal. You may have put in really hard work at your actual work, but also maybe just hard work into your personal development, and you see the results coming in June, which is always amazing when you've put in hard work to finally see results, especially if it is all about delayed gratification and you can't see instant results. In the full moon in Gemini, I see here that a lot of the answers that you needed, a lot of things that have made you feel uneasy, for instance, answers that you needed about your love, answers that you needed about how life is going to continue if somebody is going to, for instance, be well again, be healthy again, somebody who is close to you. Just having answers can give you closure that is very necessary. And in correlation to the full moon in Cancer, I want you to know that if you are unsure about somebody's health, it could also be an animal's health that is very near and dear to your heart. I see here in June that you will finally get that answer as to what is up, what is going on, and what the next steps are. And whether that answer is, you know, 100% positive or kind of laced with something that makes you feel a little bit like, oh, I wish I could do something about it, but I can't. just having that peace of mind is something that will stop you from feeling anxious whenever you think about them, whenever you think about the situation, like we have here in the Nine of Swords. So allow yourself to be open to receiving this information. And know that this is a very transformative June for you, group number 4. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be, you may think to yourself, great, more emotions, as if I need that. But learn to like really value and treasure your emotions and see them as something beautiful, especially if you're a water sign like me. You may sometimes feel like your emotions are really just making situations more difficult, but once you start to learn that they're beautiful and that there are different ways how you can express them positively, you get closer to a point of personal equilibrium, a point of personal balance where you feel safe and where you can cherish them in any way that you get flooded by your emotions. So group number 4, this is the reading that I received for you. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a little fish emoji down below, as we do have the new moon in Pisces, or a little crab. I love the little crab emoji, so leave that down below to let me know. Also, it's just like a little token of good luck for June. So wherever you are in this world, I hope that you're doing amazing. I hope that your loved ones are safe, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number 5, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Howlite, group number 5. You may have chosen this stone not just because it is marble-esque and beautiful, but maybe also because you are really meant to benefit from its calming qualities, as well as just like mentally stimulating effects that it has on you. So if you're really into that, you need to get yourself a Howlite. I love using the Howlite in my water bottles to infuse my water. I will leave a little link down below for you. But let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what is going on in June for you. So we have the full moon in Pisces. So this is all about balancing your feelings as well as making sure that practicality is still there, okay? So also balancing spirituality and practicality. Ask yourself, is it really practical if I allow myself to meditate for the whole day even though I have a deadline? It's not really that practical. While you do need to focus on, just being mentally present, your mental health, don't use it as an excuse in June, because one thing that I see here in June is that there is a lot of practicality that is going to be asked of you. So being flexible, being able to just accommodate other people's needs as well as different things in your work life. So it would really be a shame for you to miss out on fulfilling the things that you need to and just in the end stressing out about it. Don't allow that to happen, group number 5. We have the North Node as well as the full moon in Sagittarius. So what you really need to do is look at the bigger picture. You may be sweating really small stuff in June. You will be sweating really small stuff in June, as I can see here in the North Node, that looking at the bigger picture will require you to take a step back, which is you coming out of your comfort zone because you don't really like to take a step back. And that is just the honest truth, group number 5. You're somebody who likes to be engaged, who likes to be mentally stimulated, as we spoke about in the Howlite, and you do not like just repetitive things happening over and over again. But at the same time, like just taking a step back, taking a step away from all of your chores, all of the things that you feel need to be done, it can be daunting and it can make you feel like you're not doing the work that you're supposed to do and you're not keeping up. But that is just in your head, group number 5. Don't allow that to cloud your judgment or make you feel pressured to put in more work than you can physically and mentally. Then we have the gibbous moon. So in the gibbous moon, I see here that you're very close to your goal. All you need is to kind of take a breather. So a lot of the other groups here for June have all been kind of more about relaxing, but for you, it's really about just following through. For you, it's really about just kind of not giving up, okay? You're on the right path. You're on the right path to your goal. Put in a little bit of work every single day, get closer to your goal every single day, and know that you're just around the corner from a big life goal that you have. So that life goal, maybe for instance, to be stable enough to be able to apply for your own home, to start a family, to find that long lost love that you have always wanted in your life. And I want you to know here that it's important for you to keep your spirits up. It's important for you to focus on continuing down this path and to not get discouraged. That is one thing that I see in the gibbous moon. You're closer than you expect, and giving up now would just not be a good idea, okay? Giving up now is not what you need, and you have to follow through and continue to believe. Group number 5. We have a change in the wind as well as loyal heart. So one thing that I can see here in loyal heart is that if you kind of need a little bit of support, if you need somebody to kind of give you that push, that extra little bit of pep talk that you may need, it's important for you to ask for that from somebody who has proven themselves to be loyal, to be caring, and to genuinely support you. Because there are a lot of people who do not genuinely support us, because then the moment we actually try to speak about our feelings and what we need and just saying to them how we need like a little bit of extra support and somebody to be there, all of a sudden they're kind of blank. And that's when you can really tell if somebody supports you in your dreams or not. Then I can see here in a change in the wind that it's okay to try and reach out to somebody, them not being that receptive, and then just letting it be at that and going to somebody else. Because sometimes we kind of try and convince that person, and then we get even more insecure. When we speak to somebody who isn't very supportive of our dreams and who we are becoming, it can actually make you question yourself. It can actually make you all of a sudden think, oh, I'm not that sure anyways. I kind of feel a little bit more insecure now than to begin with. So don't entertain that energy for too long. Don't entertain that kind of person when you're already in a difficult place. It's best just to move on to somebody that can strengthen you before you then deal with people who are always kind of very skeptical, if you will. So if you feel like you don't have anybody in your life to strengthen you, feel free to tune into readings by people. There are a lot of amazing readers here on YouTube. Feel free to tune into more of my readings. Subscribe if you haven't already. And also follow people on Instagram that really push you, that really make you feel positive when you open your feed. Unfollow everybody else. Listen to podcasts that inspire you, and also read books by people who you feel you can relate to and who you feel have been in the same situation or in even worse situations, but they were able to pull through and to still achieve things, to still make things work. Okay, we have a card that we have a few cards that clearly want to speak within your reading and clearly want to communicate what is happening in June. So we have the Page of Wands, we have the Star, we have Justice, as well as the Ten of Swords. Where do we begin, group number 5? I would say let us begin with the Star. In the Star, I see here a close connection to your emotions and kind of hope resurfacing. So if you've been feeling like you don't know how to keep going, like you don't really know what the next step is that you're supposed to take, I want you to know here in the Star that the path is going to be lit up. It's going to come to an illumination that you maybe didn't expect, and that is all of a sudden going to make you be like, I know where I'm going now. I know what I need to do now. In the Page of Wands, I see somebody in your life who's maybe of a fire sign, who has fiery energy. It could be an Aries, it could be a Leo, just somebody who you feel inspires you, and I see them lighting up that spark within you. So turn to the fire signs in your life in June, as they will give you the kind of determination and motivation that you need, as well as just allow you to not feel like you have to be so bound to what makes sense. As I can see here in the Ten of Swords, that may have worked before. It's not going to work in June though. So what I mean by that is you, for instance, thinking to yourself, I really want to start, for instance, an online business, an e-commerce business, but there are already so many out there. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it work. Okay, well, yes, logic says most businesses fail, most businesses don't work out, but if you just kind of like take the logical route and think to yourself, well, chances are higher that I might fail, then you will lead a very boring life, group number 5, and we don't want that. I don't want that. I know you don't want that. So allow yourself to fight even against odds, and know that there are still people who made it against the odds. And the thing with odds is that we also need to account for people who didn't quite believe in themselves to begin with, or, you know, ideas that had to be readjusted. So it's not that, say for instance, only 1 out of 10 businesses make it. We also need to account that maybe some people within the 9 businesses that didn't make it had personal emergencies, you know, somebody close to them getting ill or passing away and they couldn't continue. Maybe they were just insecure to begin with and didn't push through to the end. So if you have something like that happen that is either in your control or out of your control, then you may be part of that statistic. But when things are in your control, make sure that you don't become part of that statistic, or that you don't think to yourself, oh, well, it's not going to work out anyways because, you know, logic, statistics. No, there are people who defied the odds, and they will tell you that just sticking to your plan, continuing to believe, and knowing that you're close to achieving your goals and not questioning yourself all the time, that is really what helps you through to success. And a lot of times people don't talk about how really like believing in yourself and your ideas is mostly what you need to succeed. You know, success will come as long as you're diligent, as long as you work at it like every single day, that you continue to take steps towards your goals and your aspirations. As I can see here in justice, that is one thing that you may be really hard on yourself for. You may put out work in June and think to yourself, oh my God, this isn't perfect, this isn't as good as X, Y, and Z's work, but you need to keep in mind that they started somewhere too, and just put it out there. Don't be afraid. Allow yourself to take that first step. It doesn't have to be perfect in order to be out there in the world, in order to touch other people's lives. I mean, we all know my channel has gone through a lot of change. You know, my tarot reading started at a point where it was far from perfect. My setup started at a point where it was far from anything that I really loved. I mean, now it's at a point where I like it, but it's not perfect. It could still improve. So know that there will always be room for improvement, and that you need to start somewhere. So don't be hard on yourself with things, okay? Don't feel like you are competing with anybody but the person that you were yesterday. Then we have a time for a nap, as well as why. So I did speak to you about how a lot of the other readings were more about recuperation, regeneration, and funny enough, within your month of June, it is time for a nap. So if you made it to this point of the video, leave a little fox emoji down below, because we have a cute little fox here that is just resting on the moon. So I want you to know here that it's important for you to take naps if you feel absolutely exhausted. Of course, also focus on your sleep. How is your sleeping pattern? Do you get enough sleep? Not quite enough sleep? Are you making sure that your sleep is giving you kind of like the recuperation that you need? Is it restful or not? If it is not, or if you're having trouble with napping, with sleeping, just with your regenerative pattern in general, ask yourself why, and ask yourself how you can change it. June is all about making those changes that are necessary to things where you're not really sure why they're going wrong. And know that oftentimes just a little bit of research can go a really, really long, can stretch a really far distance, if you will. Then in the King of Swords, I see here that, you know, there is a lot of kind of like emotional distance when it comes to certain topics. I see here that you try to be very diplomatic, you try to be very logical about things, and that can keep you a little bit distant, even though you're somebody who likes to be emotional and who likes to be connected to their emotions. So just because you kind of need to balance spirituality and being emotional with being practical doesn't mean that you have to completely shut out your emotional side and your side that is vulnerable, and that can sometimes overreact. But let's not get into that. Group number 5. Then we have the Emperor. So take the lead on leading a balanced, healthy life for you. Just because somebody is a lot less emotional than you and a lot more logical does not make them a better person, a more successful person. We all have different ways in which we thrive the best. And the Emperor is somebody who plans ahead, who knows themselves and plans ahead accordingly. So if you, for instance, know that you're going to get overly emotional or overly kind of like unhappy if something doesn't work out in your love life, already tell yourself that you're the bomb, that you're awesome, that you don't need the situation to be perfect, that you can still be happy and still be content without that person or without this specific scenario happening in your love life. Okay, take the lead and guide yourself to a place where you have an emotional safe haven, to a place where you feel like, I can live out my emotions in this little area, but at the same time, I'm not going to allow things that I don't have necessarily a lot of control over affect me emotionally to a state where I have no control over my emotions and they're just very destructive. So as I said here in the Emperor, it's important for you to just know yourself and plan according to what works for you in June of 2020. So group number 5, this is the reading that I received for you. I really hope that it helped, that it was insightful, and that it gave you a good idea of what to look out for and what you can work on in June. I really hope that you're doing amazing, and I would just like to thank you for being a part of today's reading. Stay safe, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos.